You see the title, and it's not a joke. Kinda, let me explain.
Outside the way you go, and this I know.
After the success of 2018 Spider-Man PS4, in between the releases of the first and second game, Insomniac released an in-between game that followed up directly from the story of the first game, including its DLC, focusing on Miles Morales as a PS5 launch title in 2020. The game takes place 10 months after the events of the first game and sees Miles as he goes on his first true solo mission as Peter has left New York to go help out MJ and Symkaria, and during the course of this mission he discovers a group of thugs known as the Underground led by the Tinker and their brief with the energy company Roxxon and the company head Simon Krieger, and he gets caught up in the middle. An enemy of Roxxon has a bird exploded during Miles' attempt at stopping the Underground from stealing a shipment of Nuform, Roxxon's new developmental energy source, which they plan to use to power Roxxon Plaza via an energy reactor, as well as the Underground as he gets in their way multiple times. He also learns that their leader is his old childhood friend Finn, who joined the Underground because Simon Krieger's actions caused the death of her older brother Rick, who was a head scientist at Roxxon and died when he tried to stop the project. He sets out to stop the conflict and stop Finn from stealing the Nuform because of its instability with assistance from the Prowler, an old criminal who his father was chasing, who turns out to be his uncle Aaron, as well as Genki, his best friend, who during all of this helps him develop his own personal Spider-Man suit. Eventually, Finn tries to put the Nuform into the reactor at Roxxon Plaza, and Miles tries to stop her, warning her that Simon changed the specs and putting the Nuform into the reactor would destroy the entirety of Harlem, but she doesn't want to listen, so Miles is forced to fight her and see all the destruction for herself, and after absorbing all the energy of the haywire reactor, Finn takes Miles into the sky where he can release all that energy, killing her in the process. Simon Krieger is arrested, and Peter returns to New York where he and Miles share coffee and chat before they swing off to the city after hearing police sirens, thus ending the game. This game's story is a joke. It is the most basic, boring, bitch-ass story ever, and a large chunk of it, specifically towards the end, could have been avoided had Miles simply finished his fucking sentence. The entire game, I'm not joking, would have ended right here at the devil. I'm not joking. Miles and Finn talk for a bit, and then this absolute brainlet started going, "Hey, Finn, you know that Nuform stuff? It's dangerous, and putting it in the reactor might cause it to explode. Just stop talking. What you just know, you learned, you big doofus. Oh, but Rhino showed up and attacked them. There was a decent enough time gap for Miles to really start telling them, but sure, even if I give you that, however, that doesn't excuse when he tackled Finn to stop her from killing Rhino. Instead of going, hey Finn, Krieger, take the reactor. It'll blow up all of Harlem. You know, the city that I live in. This dipshit goes, Finn, what the hell? Where he gets punched and doesn't say anything about the reactor until after she just started beating his shit in. And when she was walking away, instead of just finishing the sentence, he goes, but we're family. Like, no, you dumb bitch. Tell her what you just found out. If you truly care about her because you're family, tell her what you just found out before she does something stupid like she does at the end of this game, you inept, incapable, idiotic shithead. Harlem was almost destroyed because of you, and your childhood friend is dead because you're an incompetent imbecile.
You damn laggard.
What did he say?
Miles is an absolute buffoon in this game. No wonder Michael Ferrer hates him, you dark-skinned doofus, you bald-faced fuck, light in the face looking ass nigga.
Oh shit, that's me!
Just thinking what a bitch you are is pissing me off, and my eyes are gold again. What? Okay, no, hang on. Why am I gold again? And my hair dark as too. Oh my god! I just got this back to no. Whatever. I'll deal with it later. I will handle it. Back to the video. Miles is an idiot, and there's no defense for it. Oh, but Krieger's the one who tweaked the reactor to make it destroy all of Harlem. Yeah, sure, and it's fuck him too. It will always be fuck him. But guess what? The reactor would only explode if the Nuform gets put into it, which only Miles and Simon knew about. Finn didn't know. He knew, and he didn't tell her. It started with Krieger, sure, but it could have been prevented by Miles if Miles simply finished his sentence instead of just crying like a little bitch.
Family.
Little stupid bitch! Miles is an idiot and his best friend died for it. End of story. I'm moving on because I'd be on this for the next hour. So speaking of said dead best friend, Finn. You ain't safe either, you frizzle-haired. First of all, how the fuck? No, how the fuck? I don't think y'all hear me. How the fuck are you gonna blame Miles for his mom's injury? He got injured because your goon showed up on your order. You're their leader.
I'm really sorry your mom got hurt at her rally. If that new Spider-Man hadn't shown up, everyone would have been fine.
They need you. I'll help your mom. I got you. Let's go.
If that new Spider-Man hadn't shown up, everyone would have been fine.
Shut your bitch ass up!
You raggedy bitch. How fucking dare you blame Miles for his mother's injury? How dare you? He got injured before the new Spider-Man even showed up because you sent your goons to the plaza where she was very publicly hosting a rally, which you hacked the screen of, by the way, so you definitely knew. Also, your real target was the Roxxon shipment on the other side of town, so they would have only went to the plaza on your order. Your actions caused her to get injured because you sent him. Then you want to get pissy with him because he hid his identity as Spider-Man from you, and you could have killed him, but you hid your identity as Tinkerer from him. How are you going to get mad at him for doing to what you did to him? Miles already knew you were Tinkerer because of the bridge incident, but you didn't know that. You thought he had no idea until you told him. You don't get to be mad at him for hiding his identity as Spider-Man. If people who hated Spider-Man found out, they'd go after Genki, Aaron, and his mom. They'd probably get severely injured or killed. You don't believe me? Guys, Peter, how that turned out. If Miles found out you were the Tinkerer, the worst that might happen is you go to jail. That's a big if, because Miles' mom knew Aaron Davis was the Prowler, and seemingly so did his father, and he only went to jail because he turned himself in. There's a good chance nothing will happen, but regardless, you hypocritical asswipe. Oh, and then this bitch decides to blame Miles for Aaron selling him out, despite him saying verbatim he sold us out. Surprised that his uncle had not only sold you out, but he also clearly thinks Aaron sold him out. It clearly isn't his fault, nor can you blame him for that. Aaron already knew Finn was Tinkerer prior to this because of a different conversation Miles had with him, where Miles says he needs to find Finn, which is still a little weird to me because he only watched Miles leave Finn's garage. Presumably he was watching him the entire time, but still, how the fuck you got Finn as the Tinkerer from those 2 pages of information is weird in and of itself. Miles only mentions Tinkerer as being the owner of the phone he was searching for, so he just kind of guessed Finn was Tinkerer. He was right, obviously, but with the way Miles phrases both sentences, there is no connection between Tinkerer and Finn to anyone who doesn't already know that, which would only be him, and at this point, Genki. He was just smart enough to put it together, and he used that to his advantage. That's not Miles' fault, nor can I put any fault in him for it, but regardless, back to Pinhead Finn. How the fuck are you gonna get mad at him for you getting kidnapped when he was so blatantly surprised that would happen? But moreover, he was also kidnapped, and then he's the only reason you got out, by the way, you piece of shit. And put a cherry onto this bullshit cake when Miles does finally tell her after she puts the new form into the reactor. She goes, I'm not gonna let you lie to me anymore. Like, bitch, sure, you don't trust Miles, whatever, but trust yourself. You know Krieger. You know he's a fucking rat bastard. He covered up your brother's death and seemingly the deaths of every other employee who died during the New Form project. Pushed the New Form project forward despite knowing its dangers. He set up the barrier to trap your brother with the reactor, which is how he died. This man is a grade A snake, and you fucking know this. Think, Finn, think. You don't trust Miles. Sure, whatever. Trust what you know about Krieger. Does that sound like something he would do? The answer is yes! And even after you actively hear him shit talk you both.
Oh, hey, Battle Royale, my favorite. Just wanted to chime in and let you know, so you don't worry. We're gonna be just fine if this building blows. Hell, we'll be fine if all of Harlem blows. I mean, do you have any idea what kind of insurance we've got? Stop being the victims of a terrorist attack? Forget Roxxon Plaza. Coming soon, Roxxon City. Alright, later, kids.
You don't decide to stop and think for a second to go, the fuck does he mean all of Harlem? And turn around for 2 seconds to look out the window. Like, bitch, do you not have ears? Do do not have more than 2 functioning brain cells. That sounds almost exactly like what Miles just tried to tell you earlier, not once, but twice. But no, Miles beat some sense into you and make you watch Harlem World get destroyed because you want to be a dumb bitch and not use your head. I know I said earlier she didn't know about Krieger changing the specs, but when she tried to put the new formulated reactor, which she didn't, sure, I'll fault her for that. But when Miles told her, instead of going, that does sound like something Krieger would do, given everything I'm aware of, she decides to backhand him and throw him off the roof of a building. I know I said Miles is responsible for Harlem almost being destroyed since he could have stopped it, but his actions have excuses. I don't think those excuses justify his stupidity, but they do exist. There are arguments in his favor. I will acknowledge that. But Finn has nothing, and I'm supposed to feel bad for her when she dies? Absolutely not. I don't feel a thing. Fuck her. She is a genuine piece of shit for the majority of this game. She goes around destroying the city once she runs with the new form. Her idiocy gets real injured and put her, Genki, and every innocent citizen in danger. She was actively giving the underground new form sickness, by the way. Fun fact, yeah, they're all suffering from the very same new form sickness that she watched kill multiple people and her brother and gives 0 fucks, and actively use tech and weapons to a group of thugs who asked for help because, and I quote, they wanted the notoriety, the fame, and the power to do whatever they wanted. Even after all of that, you want me to feel bad for her and be sad when she dies? Yeah, I don't think so. That Finn pack is hitting so fucking different.
Fuck your homie dead. Fuck your homie dead. Fuck your homie dead.
I can't stand this girl, yo. I really can't. This dirty bitch and her fuck ass split ends. You ain't no tinker. You will never be the tinker. You're a damn trash rat, bitch. I don't even got beef with anybody else, really. Krieger's just a basic scumbag businessman villain, nothing else. There's nothing to say about this Topher Grace wannabe other than the fact that he's not even a Spider-Man villain. He's an Iron Man villain who appeared in Iron Man the Iron Age, the 2-issue comic storyline from 1998, where he tries to masquerade as Tony Stark to ruin Tony's reputation and take over Stark Industries, but fails to do so, gets arrested, and dies in prison. That's all he does. Deadass. He is the most nothing character in the comics. He's a nothing character in the games. He's fine. He serves his purpose. I don't care. I also don't have much to say about Rio, Aaron, or Genki. They're fine interpretations of characters that I don't feel too strongly about one way or the other. However, there's one last note I want to mention about the game's story, and that is Fraud Parker. Pete.
This guy's a fraud.
It's a cool question. How? No, genuinely. How? There is no excuse for Peter losing to Rhino. It makes absolutely no sense. Need I remind you of the fact this man was poisoned by Scorpion, and not even an hour later with, and I cannot stress this enough, broken ribs, basically 14 broken ribs, I believe, says, I'm better, hits a fucking Homelander, and proceeds to 2v1 the worst tag team to oppose of Rhino and Scorpion, and he wins. He beats Rhino while getting jumped by Scorpion, and he wins. Yet in this game, he can't beat Rhino in a 1v1. Your Honor, I call bullshit to the highest degree. There is zero excuse for this. It was solely done so Miles can awaken his Venom powers, even if it means turning Peter into a damn fool. This absolute dumbass. The very first fraud charge he ever catches. I'll give them this. It took 2 explosions to knock him on his ass, but it should have never gotten to this point of him having to take those 2 explosions in the first place. He's in a 1v1 against Rhino, who he beat in a much worse situation. The first one is fun. Him and Miles are trying to restrain them and failing. The second is inexcusable to me, thus bringing us full circle back to how did we get here? It's a minor fraud charge, but it's still a charge. He's catching. He's catching that. He is holding it. Firmly grasp that charge, Peter. You're catching it, bro. This game's story is full of cracks that makes it absolutely irritating. And the worst part about it is the fixes seem so goddamn obvious. But truthfully, I've spent way too long ranting about the story that if I sit here trying to fix it, I'm never gonna talk about the rest of the game. So we're gonna move on. But if you do want to see me make a video about how I would fix the story of Miles Morales, please let me know. And since I know people are gonna bitch about me criticizing the game's story, I've platinumed the game 3 different times and played it 6 different times. In order to get the platinum trophy, you need to do a new game plus run. I did it for PS4, did it for PS5, and on PC when we're playing it for this video. I've gone through this game story too many times now, so try again. Now, while I know I spent the entire video ranting about the story, the gameplay on the other hand is fucking great.
That to stand and consider all possibilities is to drown in a tunneling sea of infinite potentiality.
Combat is really great, tight, responsive, and stylish. Miles has some pretty solid gadgets, a small roster, but significantly different from Peter's. To give you an idea, the Roxxon guards are just the same Agents. They are. Agents 2, military boogaloo, that's what they are, but the way they're dealt with by the two Spider-Man is very different. In the first game, Peter straight up cannot stealth his way through a full stable base, as after the first wave, you'll be automatically forced into combat and they will notice you, whereas Miles can. With his invisibility, he can sneak up on enemies in a way Peter can't, as well as escape bad situations in seconds before getting spotted, even just by standing there. Miles' gadgets also allow him to handle enemies in ways Peter's don't, such as using the holodrome to draw enemy attention so you can get a specific enemy, or using the remote mines and electrical boxes to take out large groups of enemies. Where the real standout in combat difference is the underground. These dorky goons have a variety of weapons, and while some are just basic goons, the ones with the weapons need to be dealt with using Miles' venom powers, and are done so in various ways depending on what weapons they have. The first ones need to be punched. His bioelectricity is really cool in Miles' combat with enemies to are flashier and smoother, and more impactful as well with the effect and designs such as Venom Smash, creating a massive electrical burst and a slight screen shake when it hits. It's even used for swinging, allowing Miles to traverse across the map way smoother, such as using Venom Jump to get extra height and Venom Dash to gain more distance, a feature that I'm so glad they brought back in Spider-Man 2 because it makes web swinging far faster and smoother. Another neat detail is that Miles' swing animations in this game are far different from Peter's. While Peter's are far more straight-laced and precise, Miles is far more wild and emotive, swinging like he's inexperienced, which makes sense because he is inexperienced, as he's only been doing this for about 10 months, whereas Peter's been doing this for 9 years now, so it makes sense their swinging is so different. There's also the side content for the game, which is great, being mostly little side stories involving the citizens of Harlem, and a very great way of allowing the city to feel so alive and fleshed out. They're done through the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man app, which works not only as a gameplay thing so you can track side missions and crimes easier, but it's also a real in-universe app to help citizens get in better contact with Spider-Man. If you beat all of them, you'll get a suit for it. There's also time capsules hidden throughout the game, which are just the backpacks from Spider-Man, little trinkets with history for this version of Miles, and they're hidden all throughout the map pretty well. There's also the underground caches and sound beats hidden throughout the map as well. Underground caches are, as the name implies, caches containing underground tech. There's 35 hidden around the map, some even hidden with Roxxon bases. Get all of them, as well as taking out all the underground bases, and you'll get all the programmable matter suit. The audio beats, however, are little sound samples you can find throughout the map to create a song that Aaron and Jefferson were working on before they're falling out, and putting it together will unlock a locker in Iron's hideout containing the Prowler suit.
Turn that shit off. Turn that shit off!
That shit is some ass, gang, I'm not gonna lie to you. Pack up the music equipment, Uncle Aaron, you ain't cut out for this. Stick to the trains, gang. There's also a bunch of spider training missions set up by Peter for Miles, which gets you into the Miles Morales suit from the comics. There's even a suit for Into the Spider-Verse. The suit selection for this game is awesome. In my opinion, it's one of the best things about this game. If I were to rank them, this would be my personal ranking of them. Most of the suits are solid. Some are great, like the tracksuit and the end suit, but others are trash, like the Great Responsibility suit. That shit is hot ass. The elbow with knee pads, the costume dead ass just look like the most thrown together nonsense ever. Peter, Petey Boy, Fraud Parker. What is this shit, man? You know what? No, add this trashy ass suit to the fraud charge list too. Top of the list. Anyways, Fraud Parker's terrible suit aside, I also do think the music for this game is pretty solid. While nothing crazy in my opinion, it is pretty good. I also really like Najee Jeter's voice performances themselves. He's a great Miles, probably the best or second best performance of Miles, only contended by Childish Gambino in the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show. The voice performances as a whole in this game are solid. Jasmine Savoy Brown as Finn, Troy Baker as Figure, E.K. Amadi as Aaron, and so on. Overall, this game is pretty good. It's got a lackluster story that is riddled with issues, but has amazing gameplay, solid suits, and good voice performances. But for now, for the question you've probably been wondering, how does any of this relate to Miles Morales? Does it need to exist? If you haven't caught on, I'm referring to the game, not the character. I may not care for the character much of Miles, but he exists and I don't care for him too much one way or the other. I could live with or without him. However, I genuinely don't think the game needed to be made. 3-hour romp that only really serves to bridge part of the gap between Spider-Man 1 and 2, but ultimately ends in a similar position to the Knuckles TV show does from Sonic 2 and 3. Much like how that show only really serves to explain how Knuckles has Fire Fist in that movie, and why Wade has the Master Emerald, two things that don't really get much attention, the game only shows to explain how Miles awakened to his bioelectricity and ability powers, which he has control of in the second game. And frankly, I feel like with how small the game is, it could have just been extra DLC for Spider-Man 1. The underground gets really zero mention in Spider-Man 2. The stuff with Rockhead and the entirety of Harlem almost being destroyed is just a thing that happened. This game did not need to be made. It objectively didn't. It's given zero matter in 2, but the stuff in Spider-Man 1 is still discussed. Devil's Breath still gets brought up. For all intents and purposes, Miles Morales did not need to happen as a whole separate game. But truth be told, I'm very glad it did. Similar to Hollow Knight Silksong, it's different enough from the original game and allowed the dev team to improve on many of the flaws of the first game, such as adding mission replay, experimenting with styles and animation and style, and overall just make a damn good experience for it. And if you think this video was a good experience, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and hype up the video. And if you didn't, I suck, so YouTuber, the V2 comment section down below. Peace out and enjoy yourself. I'm gonna go figure out how to get my eyes back to normal because now I'm pissed off just thinking about it again. God damn it!
I'm ready to go, she calling my phone, girl.